Man, 6 months to make a series. Hell yeah. Hey everybody, what's going on? Barrow here, back inside of Borderlands 2, and today we've got Worst in Slot, a series that I said that I was going to do and never actually finished, but now it's actually here. Better late than never. I've been actually working on fixing a bunch of stuff that's... yeah, but anyway, let's just go ahead and jump into what this is. So if you don't remember, Best in Slot was showing you the best of every single weapon type inside of the game. This is going to be Worst in Slot. So we're going to show you the worst of every single weapon type, the absolute worst. And we're going to put them up against the same DPS test that I did in the previous Best in Slot. So good old Bad Maw is going to be... it's going to be having a bad time, or rather a good time. So anyway, let's go ahead and start this off with the Bearcat. Now, the Bearcat is a pearlescent dull assault rifle that was introduced with the UVHM patch. And you know what's even better than an assault rifle with a broken crit modifier? An assault rifle with no crit modifier. That's right, this thing is a grenadier that is unable to land critical hits. And now we're going to go ahead and put this up against a 4-player difficulty Bad Maw. And we're going to see just how much damage this thing can even do. Spoilers, it doesn't. We've got to go through multiple bursts in order to even break his shield. And if you go back to the Best in Slot, it was able to rip the shield fairly fast and then start eating into his health. Now that we've reached the health portion where I get the actual damage modifier, you can see his health going down at a solid nothing per second. I didn't even really bother making DPS charts for these things because you can clearly see they don't do damage. Now, yes, this thing can kill, like maniacs and whatever, but pretty much anything can kill a maniac. I mean, let's be honest here. If you slag a maniac, it's gonna die. But the Bearcat, we've managed to use pretty much all of our ammunition. We didn't fully restock beforehand, but we didn't even make it halfway. We did not even make it halfway to Bad Maw being dead. So that's where the Bearcat currently stands, and we're just gonna go ahead and just throw it right there. I'm just gonna leave it right there. So for our next one, we've got the Fremington's Edge. Notice that this thing has a dull barrel. It means it reduces the damage of this gun and reduces the recoil. But because it's Hyperion, it doesn't matter, because Hyperion takes forever to fire again anyway. So it has a 1.0 rate of fire with reduced damage, with a Hyperion grip for even more reduced damage, and yeah. Going back to the Best in Slot, this thing was able to take out Bad Maw in a couple of seconds. Or at least the most powerful sniper, the Lyuda, was able to take out Bad Maw in seconds. This thing, not so much. The damage on the Fremington's Edge is laughable at best. Now, in a single-player environment, you will be able to damage low health enemies such as maniacs and basic marauders, but once you start getting into some more beefier enemies, you're going to start noticing a much larger problem, especially if you're not playing as Maya. I want to keep that thing in mind, that we are using the best class possible for these guns, and that Maya is one of the best in terms of handling with sniper rifles. She does beat out Zero. Critical Ascension is nice, but unfortunately it's not the best for this type of test. Now, in the long run, sure, Critical Ascension will do better, but this one, Maya's the best. But anyway, as we can see, now that Reaper has started to drop off, our damage has kind of dropped off as well. Keep going into phase locks. We're actually going to reach I think, a fast phase lock. We've phase locked him so many times that he just doesn't want to be phase locked anymore. So that's where the Fremington's Edge stands in our current... yeah, that's where it stands. Not the greatest. So anyway, that is going to be the Fremington's Edge. We're just going to go ahead and throw that off the bridge because you never want to use that thing. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and throw off the Bearcat while we're at it as well. Just no one wants to use those guns. And now for the Worst in Slot SMG, we have the Tulane. You know what's better than a multi-element SMG? It's one that also slags you. That's right, just by simply holding this SMG, you are now slagged, taking a ×3 damage, so tripling your damage intake by using this SMG. I also want to point out that we do have a cat class mod on while we're doing this test, and while it does rip the shield instantly, it doesn't do much else beyond that. It will just sort of start to tickle the enemy at best, and you can see the enemies are able to just rip right through my shield and health because I'm taking triple the damage, and its hipfire is not the greatest, as was the Sandhawk as well. But if we look at the Tattler's hipfire was not actually that bad. Its spread was not the worst, but this thing is just horrendous, and I'm able to kill a midget, but that's about all I'm going to be able to kill with this weapon. Now, the primary damage is not that great, as well as the splash is not that great as well. So you can see kind of where this where this gun lies in DPS. Not the greatest, ends up slagging you, does mediocre damage at best, and is worse than the SMG in the Tiny Tina DLC that also does slag and shock damage, but doesn't slag you. So, and you might say, where's the Bane in this test? Why wasn't the Bane on here? The Bane wasn't on there because it can actually kill stuff. I've actually killed Terramorphous with the Bane. It's possible. It's doable. But this thing, not so much. And now for the worst in-slot shotgun. You know what's great about a flacker? A flacker that has a third of the pellets, horrendous accuracy, and mediocre damage. That's what the Landscaper more or less is. It's a shotgun that will basically lay down grenades on the ground that it basically creates a minefield. But the damage on it is so mediocre at best, and its accuracy is completely horrendous. While the accuracy might say that it's really high, just look at this. You have to be at near point-blank range in order to do anything, and even then, the blasts do next to nothing for damage. I didn't even bother trying to give this another shot because I already know what's going to happen. It's not going to do any damage, and you can be sure that it's not going to get you a second wind unless you are directly on top of the enemy and they're slagged. This thing is an abomination of a shotgun. There are just basic blue shotguns that do better DPS than this piece of shit. And that's where the Landscaper falls in. Don't use it. Ever. And now it's time for the Logan's gun. I'm sure everyone knew that this was going to be the worst in-slot pistol, by far. This thing only has one purpose, and that's refilling your rocket ammo, which some people might say is a glitch, but honestly, it's the only use for this gun. I have a hard time breaking Bad Maw's shield with this piece of shit. Like, if I can't even break the shield, what is it really going to do in the long run? I mean, I can kind of kill a psycho. Kind of. But overall, this pistol is probably the worst ever. I mean, the Gub can at least kill stuff at a decent rate if you constantly slag enemies. This thing cannot. And if you're in a four-player environment, you are going to provide absolutely nothing with this quote legendary gun. This thing is just, why does it even exist? Why does it even exist? And the best part about it, not only can it not crit, but it can't, like, connect with enemies. It has to connect with a physical surface. Why? So that is the Logan's gun. If you want to know its DPS, it is sadness out of 12. And now it's time for the worst in-slot rocket launcher. And that goes to the Tunguska. The Tunguska does less damage than a purple Torg rocket launcher, so it's already one of the worst damaging out of the top 5. In addition, its blast radius is horrendously humongous, and will end up killing you. So basically, you're basically taking a non-elemental E-Tech launcher that splash radius can kill you. Yeah. There's nothing good about this rocket launcher. I mean, well, it does have a perk that it can kill enemies behind cover, which is really nice and good for kind of second winding. But if you don't have them slagged, you're going to have a hard time killing them to begin with, because you can see the damage that I'm doing to that nomad right there. It takes 3 shots with Immolate to kill the thing. So if it's not slagged, you're going to have an issue. So if he's already behind cover, you're not doing yourself much of a favor. And as you can see here, the blast radius is gigantic, and you're just going to kill yourself over and over and over again. So everyone, these are some of the worst guns in Borderlands 2. I could have made, now obviously I could have just said, well, obviously all the white weapons are the worst, but I wanted to leave them all unique items. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Which items did you think were going to be on this list 6 months ago? And you let me know. I would look forward to reading it. I'm going to be making a little bit more Borderlands 2 content here and there, nothing too major, but I want to make a few other series as well as a special series that's going to be coming up soon. You'll have more details on that if you follow me on Twitter. But anyway, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, help support me in what I do, and don't forget to subscribe for future content. That's going to be all from me today. I'll try and make, videos and series like less than 6 months apart. I'm going to do my best to do that. I'm not going to do that anymore. But anyway, thank you all for watching. That'll be all. Catch you all in the next one. Later. Yeet.